Good morning, everyone. I'd like to call back to order and end the recess of the April 16th, 2026 Planning Board regular meeting, seeing we have a quorum. So the recess is now ended and we can return to our deliberations on what was item 7.4, amending the various sections of the town's UDO regarding Planning Board and Board of Adjustment powers and duties, roles, composition, and terms as directed by the town council. And where we left it, we had reviewed the planning board items with some number of adjustments to the original suggested text. But when it came to section, make sure I get the right one, 2.4 on a board of adjustment, we were requesting that they weigh in on that, and which I think they worked on yesterday. And I see we got some paper on our desk here called Board of Adjustment. So Ron, why don't you update us on where we stand on that section? And then after that, we can then take up where we stand on all the other revisions to the revisions to the sections not including the planning Board of Adjustment. Oh, okay.
Mr. Chair, I'm happy to update you. I attended the Board of Adjustment meeting yesterday, and the board reviewed in entirety section 2.4, and the amendments that they made were to section 3 under membership and composition. If you go to the very last sentence where it talks about the ETJ members' rights and privileges, they added the language that you see there in red in front of you that says when the ETJ member shall have equal rights and privileges with other members when acting on matters affecting the ETJ, and the added language says and all areas within the corporate limits of the town. If you forward to what would be page 3 in your handout for the Board of Adjustment, section 5A under oaths and subpoenas, where it says the chairperson or his/her designee, they then added the language or clerk of the Board of Adjustment are authorized to administer oaths, and so on. That was the only changes that the Board of Adjustment made in section 2.4 and voted on those changes and passed it in its entirety.
So this is what they recommend that we include. Make sure I understand. We had originally a text amendment with a bunch of redlining and replacement for section 2.4. So I guess I don't know how that relative to that is. It replaces that in its entirety. So, correct? In other words, we had this original version with all the red lines. So this new document 2.4 replaces everything that was here.
They reviewed the document that was sent to them by the governing board. They also had in their packet the document with the red lines.
Right.
They reviewed the original document, made the 2 changes that I indicated, and they voted on that and accepted it.
I think it includes the red line.
Well, I'm just trying to read this first sentence to make sure I see which one's which here. Pursuant to NG 203, there is here, it's the red line, is hereby established a Board of Adjustments for the town of the Board of Adjustments.
Yeah, see the red lines are in there.
So the red is incorporated in this one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Even that last sentence, right? In the town is ordinances, no, described by this ordinance. But it's not exactly the same. The last sentence isn't exactly the same, right? Because if you look at the delegate described by this ordinance, now it's delegated by this ordinance. So is this more like the original? I don't mean to offend complete. I'm just reading. If you read, what I'm doing is the 2.4A1 text amendment language that we got at the last meeting is not the same as this language. So is this language replacing this one and what's in the current UDO? If you just look at the last sentence, I guess, you can see that they're not the same.
The one that we got handed today, the second sentence says the planning board. And this should be Board of Adjustment. Right?
Right. You see what I mean? You guys see that? If you look at, well, we got 2A1, if just that first paragraph, 1, compared to one that we just got today is not the same.
Yeah.
They got this.
You see that, Ron? Right? So are we saying that what they wrote here, and again, Stuart brings up the point, is the planning board exercise on it?
Shouldn't say planning
It
board.
should say the Board of Adjustment, and then is everything else then, did they just not look at that first paragraph? Or you see my confusion?
Well, I don't know exactly what the BOA got because I was not at that meeting yesterday. I was not able to be there. Personal things going on.
Right.
I watched
but-
it. They didn't comment on that first paragraph at all.
So should we not take their number one and take Ron Satterfield number one? Because I think they say the same thing.
When I tried to mirror the document of what we got from council, when I tried to bring it over, I tried to use as much as possible the current code language so there were fewer changes. Obviously, in the current code, it says, and to point out Mr. Jones's, what he just pointed about the planning, but it's reference planning board under establishment authority. Current code already had Board of Adjustment, so that's why I did not change that, obviously. The current code already referenced the correct statute, so there were not as many changes to that.
Right, because even as you see, what you have is, so I don't know where this came from, because like B, we have a 1 and 2, which we didn't change. Well, nothing was changed, but they've changed it now.
But it's
Powers and duties.
but the rules have it with the powers and duties maybe formatted slightly different. To hear and decide appeals, variant special use permits. And then the second sentence says the Board of Adjustment shall follow statutory judicial procedures. That's current code language. And when I tried to merge the two documents, I did not feel like we needed to have to change it just for the sake of changing it because it says the same thing. So I'm going back to what you guys originally proposed. I don't think we have to. It's the same wording. It's just
Format.
Just a formatting thing. And when my opinion is from a grammatical perspective, you don't have an A if you don't have a B. You don't have a 1 if you don't have a 2.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So I would take what their changes are, what they're proposing or recommending, and just make sure we incorporate it into what's being
All right.
reviewed.
So in their number 1, we need to replace planning board with Board of Adjustment.
Correct, and it's already fine, and it's already what you received last week and talked about last week already references the Board of Adjustment.
But what language are we using? I'm still not. We have this language on this document doesn't match the language on the text amendment. We are still voting on the text amendment, not on this piece of paper.
I agree. And the text
So
amendment's
if we're
fine.
voting on the text amendment, why does the text amendment reflect what the Board of Adjustment wants? And if you're sensing I've had enough of this, and we're getting real close. We have a text amendment before us at the last meeting, was recessed to allow any further changes the board would like to the text amendment that was given to us. So if the proposal now is to replace everything that was in 2.4 with this piece of paper, That's one thing. Or I have no idea what we got. We are still looking at the text amendment because that's what's in the UDO.
100% agree.
Is this a text amendment?
I think the board.
The Board of Adjustment had the document that you just held up, the original document that was given by the council. The Board of Adjustment also had the redlined version that was delivered from Mr. Satterfield. The Board of Adjustment made the changes that you see in that original document, and that's what they voted on.
But that's not the text amendment. We have a text amendment before us. We don't have an original document. We are reviewing and voting on a text amendment. I need to see the text amendment.
I can only give you what the board
I
voted
know.
on, Mr. Chair. I don't know what you want from me.
So is it now on us?
I don't know what the text amendment says anymore. I will not do a motion to approve or deny. I can't either because I don't know what the text amendment says. Because the text amendment we had at the last meeting, which we're still considering after the recess, doesn't match this. And if this is what I have no problem with what the Board of Adjustment wants, but it needs to be put into the text amendment. Are you hearing me, Ron, or am I? You can tell me I'm wrong if you want to. I'm happy. I'm fine with that. But that's my mind. We have a text amendment. The Board of Adjustment, and I thought the instructions were for them to look at the text amendment and say what they want and what they don't want, which is what we probably got here, but we don't have it in the text amendment now. We are looking at a text amendment that's been published, correct?
Well,
And advertised.
I got the Board of Adjustment stuff this morning. So I was not here yesterday. I did not, like I said earlier, I was
Okay.
not able to be here yesterday for this discussion. I'm not even sure what they received other than what Chief has just said they got. This morning, I had not incorporated what they showed because I got it this morning and I was trying to print out what I realized when I walked in the door this morning that in your box you did not have
Correct. That's the
text
we'll come to
amendment.
that.
the text
We'll
amendment
come to
changes
that in
that
a
I
minute.
have that I made since your meeting.
Right.
And that's what I was trying to do before this meeting started. And just to further defend, my computer was now, I got a new computer because it crashed yesterday after this meeting.
Are we just not ready for this?
Yeah.
I'm willing to just admit defeat and say we're not ready for this yet because of
This is what
whatever.
changes I made.
I just want to make sure, Chief, you understand, we are required and obligated to review and vote on a text amendment, but we really don't have one that's complete at this time for whatever unfortunate reasons that occurred. Now, we might be trying to push the envelope to squeeze this all in. It was just not possible.
Yeah, I feel like we're pushing
So-
too hard, too fast, and we need to get it right.
I mean, we're trying to meet some these deadlines, and we tried, but I just don't think we have. I'm not sure what I would move on and what I would vote on today.
Yeah.
What remains to be reviewed in this entire rewrite minus the section 2.4? Because I left the last Thursday's meeting before it was recessed.
Right.
Had you made it through
We made it
The
through the
entire
whole
document,
the whole
with the
document.
exception of 2.4?
Well, and we including 2.4, sort of saying that
We went,
our preference is that the Board of Adjustment looks at this first, this
Mhm.
text amendment, and tell us what they can weigh in on, what they agree with, what they don't agree with, whatever. Which I'm assuming they did and tried to do yesterday.
They did.
Okay.
Yeah.
So their thoughts and this needs to be put into this text amendment.
So short of adding their two
But I
minor
don't think
changes into this text amendment,
I don't think you can do that straight up. I mean, you have to look at the language of what's in the UDO now and incorporate what they want. It might be just a cut and paste the new one in there, maybe. Like I just said, like on that first paragraph, it doesn't work. What they got doesn't work. The wording is wrong. It says planning board, not board of. So we can't even cut and paste that one in because it has to be fixed again.
sure.
So maybe we just rush the envelope too much. Ron and Kimberly, when she comes back, where it needs more time to look at what they said, put it into the text amendment. It looks like I got an email the other day, I forget when it was. Was it Tuesday? With this updated, after a meeting, this updated text they just handed me, which is our changes to the planning board and other sections. So we need to review that to see it agrees with the meeting.
Yeah, and there's issues in there too.
You're right, I caught a few, but not a lot. I didn't have a lot of time, I was busy on it.
Hold
So I just wonder,
There's
we
issues with this,
we just
too.
didn't, I think we just faced the fact, we didn't give enough time for everybody to do their jobs properly. So we need to figure out how to give staff and everybody time to, I mean, Ron's feverishly working here, but stop, Ron, you're not gonna fix it at the moment, unless we give you more time to
The
work on.
the original direction from the board was to either approve or not approve.
Is that the council or the
The
board?
council,
Yeah.
Okay.
the governing body, right? And that document was sent as it was sent from the governing board. They looked at the document, made those edits, and they approved it.
Well, they can't.
They can't.
The way this works is the planning board
Only the
has
planning board has UDO.
60 days to provide revisions based on what we've been handed. And at that point, the council has the obligation to hold public hearings on the now accepted changes from the planning board to the council or a public hearing. Now, my understanding is, and Stuart, keep me honest here, is they've already scheduled a public hearing. Well,
They
there's
did.
nothing to hear. In other words, we're not going to have a document that reflects the revisions made by the planning board to the UDO that are ready for consideration by the public.
So with respect, because I'm learning as I go, please
Yeah.
understand that. So if they can't vote on this, which the chairman said they can't, we sent it to them for review and comment only.
Right,
Am I correct? And they did just that.
right. So
And
that
they
needs to be
gave you-
inputted into
And they
this
gave
text
you
amendment.
two minor edits, which could be added into that text amendment.
Yeah, but you're looking at the wrong basic text.
They had both of the documents available.
Well, okay. We have already before us a text amendment.
It
You
has
can't
not-
adopt that text amendment and this document because they don't agree. We
But
either
if-
need
if-
to replace what's in the text amendment with a new text, but looking at the new text, it's not right. We already determined the first line isn't right. So we can't just say, remove section 2.4 from text amendment that staff provided on April 16th with text from the Board of Adjustment on April, whatever it was, yesterday,
21st.
21st, because that's not even right. We then have to start working on theirs, which I just believe it's like running too fast and falling forward.
I guess my question is, and again, I'm learning as I go.
Right.
Yeah.
If they don't vote, and
Who they?
those
Who's
Board of
they?
Adjustment, Board
They
of
don't
Adjustment.
have a vote, really.
Right. So if they don't, their two edits could be added into what you're about to vote on.
I agree.
Just those sentences. So a matter of 25 words, if that, could be added into your existing text amendment language. Because if we keep going back to they don't vote, they don't get to approve this. What they said was, here's two minor edits we want. Include those in your text
So
amendment.
go back to Ron's text amendment of April 16th and add their two comments.
Add those two comments.
If that's the only changes.
That was the only changes that we walked out of that 27-minute meeting.
Okay, so
yesterday.
we have 2.4 in this blue line one here someplace, right?
And I didn't realize you guys had gotten what I thought I heard you guys talk about last week, the changes. So that was the blue line is supposed to be representing that. I've heard maybe that you have some further edits or don't believe it captures everything. That's fine. That's what we're here for today. But it was based on my notes and understand, like I said earlier, my computer literally crashed after that meeting Thursday. And I had to get a new computer. So I was making changes on the fly as you
I
go.
understand why it crashed.
So,
This whole thing has been a bit of a
Okay.
crash and burn.
So
just
what
for
we're saying to do is only look at the red part
that's not
on,
much. Yes.
on this document.
So I can tell you, I've just quickly look, Mr. Bruno, you said stop working because I don't need to do this, but I can tell you where those changes would be in the blue line.
Now,
And-
are
So
we
you-
extending our reach beyond what we are endowed by ordinance? I mean, it sounds like, okay, we're gonna change the text of the UDO based on submissions by an organization to which we do not belong.
No,
Yeah, but we always can do that.
But,
no,
yeah,
I
we
don't
can
think
do
I don't
that.
think you're going beyond your scope and reach, in my opinion, because you're the board that is making a recommendation to town council.
Okay.
Town council had asked that we take the initial amendment to the Board of Adjustment for their feedback, which is what was done yesterday. You had asked that they also provide some suggested language under their Section 2.4 Board of Adjustment. So they don't typically make a recommendation or even get an opportunity to make it to have input on the text amendment,
So let me,
as the chair pointed out.
So you could take this document you just gave us, and you can
Those two edits,
put these two edits someplace in here so we can see them.
the two edits, I can tell you where they go for
Okay.
now.
Where do they go?
All right, so under 2.4C1,
Yep.
at the very end, add and all areas within the corporate limits of the town.
We're at the very end
And
of one.
C1.
Yeah. Where the ETJ period is,
So ETJ period would go, and the period's gone,
period's gone, yep.
and all
Areas
areas.
within the corporate limits of the town.
Okay.
And then if you flip to letter E, oath and subpoenas, it's a couple pages back. Under 1, after designee, comma, or clerk or the Board of Adjustment, comma. So it would read the chairperson, and I had proposed striking his slash her because
Yeah.
his slash her is irrelevant and not needed language. So the chairperson or designee, comma, or clerk of the Board of Adjustment, comma, is authorized to administer oaths.
Okay.
Those are the two changes that they proposed.
Okay. Perfect.
And then the other items on this original sheet have been incorporated in some way, shape, or form into this document, just in other places or slightly varied words. There were a couple of times where I tried to remove redundant language, just as an example. But all of 2.4, as initially suggested by council, is incorporated in what you talked about last week, and it's incorporated in the blue. And what I just passed out.
Okay. So now we can go back and look at the blue and see if it agrees with our notes
Right. And
from the last meeting.
before we start at the beginning, maybe to help save some time, Mr. Chairman,
Okay. I'm always for that.
based on your feedback last week, unless I just missed something by mistake, I have put you guys back in the review process for major site plans and preliminary subdivision plats. I may have missed something, so I apologize if that was the case, if you found something. But that was, so basically the back half of this document, under the common review procedures,
Right.
you guys are back in the process. 2.14 special plan procedures. I basically just rejected all changes on this document.
Right. So the blue should reflect the original red and then our discussion.
That was my intent. Again, if I missed something, I apologize for that, but it was based on my recollection and the notes that I had taken.
Okay. Well, we can
But I did,
review, then we will forthwith review that to,
but certainly the intent was to, your direction that I heard you say was you guys want to be part of the major site plan review process and the major preliminary subdivision process.
Correct.
That has been restored, unless I just missed something, but that has been restored.
Well, we'll try to,
And if you find something, that's fine, but that is the biggest change that I've, and some of the other the conversations, the composition, feedback, et cetera, so.
I mean, the main part of B, what we redid was instead of, if I remember correctly, instead of repeating stuff, we put an opening paragraph and then all the added duties that could be added or confirmed, whatever we call it. So the first sentence, the planning board shall have the following duties at town council's request in an open meeting by majority vote of the town council.
That's what I thought I heard you say.
Right.
You as me.
And then all these numbers,
So I took-
1 through 1, so I got it, we crossed out here. So 1, peer review recommend to town council comprehensive, that's the land use plan, right?
So as an example, Mr. Chair, with modifying that first lead in, if you will, I then went and deleted where I could find anywhere where it said at town council's request.
Right. Right, because that's covered in the first line, and these
Correct.
are all the things that can be requested, which is the land use plan is number 1. Number 2 is the periodic review of the land use plan, basically, right?
Correct.
3 is what we're doing here. Review and make regarding UDO text amendments. Should be a comma in there, right? Zoning text amendments, zoning map amendments, subdivision regulation amendments, and other development regulations, right? So
Correct.
basically 3 is what we're doing today is any UDO changes, right?
Right.
Staying in a nutshell there.
And that's us retaining those rights or
Right.
that duty.
Number 4 is advise the town council on land use growth management event. So that's advisory, which is covered also.
Right.
Is number 4. 5 drops down to
Should be-
conduct studies and prepare advisory reports. That's nice, kind of open-ended. Okay. And related to land use, infrastructure, and planning, growth trends. Okay. 6, which everyone agrees on and is trying to achieve, promote public participation in planning process and provide opportunities for community input. Yes. And 7, perform other advisory plan may be directed by a town consistent with 160D. So I guess the question to Stuart and everybody else is that the inclusive list that we derived from the original list in there, it sounds like it to me.
It's in there. I still have an issue with, the very first statement saying that, we have to have town council's request. So in here is UDO amendments. Over the last 2 years, we've come up with several UDO amendments that the town council didn't request us to do. I feel like we can't initiate a UDO text change on our own. We can only do it if the town council.
Which number is that one?
The very first one.
Well, it's
No.
the very first line.
Well, that, but I'm wondering we
Oh.
could put that as a separate item with.
Now, maybe I'm missing something here,
Mhm.
but when I go to the UDO text amendment section 216, which is you don't have because there weren't any proposed changes to that.
Right.
It says proposed amendments to the text of the ordinance may be initiated by any interested party. That
Well, that's-
includes the planning board.
Well, maybe we got to work on the first sentence again because I think
That's
says
my
the planning
concern,
board
is that
shall have the-
anybody can propose a text change.
Right, and then 216A 1A says proposed changes or amendments to the zoning map may be initiated by the town council, planning board, town
Right.
administration, or by the owner, his
so
or
I
her
think we
agent.
just got to fix
So
the
we
first.
need to be consistent.
Right.
with-
We need to fix that first sentence again. The planning board shall have the following duties, comma, and additional duties something at town council's request an open meeting by majority vote.
Yeah. And
You know what I'm saying? That we have the following duties, and the town council can, if they vote on, provide additional duties, or, you know what I'm saying? I think you need a comma and then "and" in there. So that the town council can say, okay, we want the planning board to do this, they take a vote on it, and then we do it.
So read what you're suggesting.
Well, I'm
So I can
thinking
make sure I capture
the
it.
planning board shall have the following duties, comma, and additional duties as assigned by the town, as assigned by the town council in an open meeting by majority vote. So we have these duties, the town council can deliberate something, vote on it, and assign us an additional duty.
In an open meeting.
Yes, right? And then we're consistent, I believe.
that makes us
It allows
consistent.
them to assign additional things that they think we should be working on. But we have the base duties in here that are consistent with the rest of the UDO. Am I making sense, Stuart and Ron, and
Yeah.
you guys?
Yeah.
So this would allow for
And
someone to come directly to the planning board in some cases.
Right, because it's elsewhere in the UDO, and so this would be consistent with it.
Yeah.
and I guess this is where I don't disagree with what you're suggesting, but I'm going to just look at what the current code reads, look at what the statutes read, et cetera. When you look at the current requirements or powers and duties, if you will, laid out in the statutes, laid out in the current code, it does not specifically say that you guys can initiate a text amendment, as an example. Why is that not there? Because you don't need to, because it's listed somewhere else in the code. When I look through the planning board composition or 160D 301 in the general statutes, in there neither does it say that you explicitly have the rights to initiate a text amendment or map amendment. So it's implicit, just there.
Right, but we're back to where we were because it wasn't broken before.
Right.
Okay?
And
So all we're trying to incorporate in here is what appears to be the town council's desire to be able to assign, request, whatever you want to call it, things for the planning board to do.
sure.
So
And,
I would have been happy leaving it just the way it was.
and you can make that recommendation.
So we could go back and trash the whole thing in general. But we were trying to accommodate what appeared to be their desire, that if something comes up, that they want to be able to deliberate and vote on it and give us the duties. Now, but
But
I
we're
think the
we're
original-
trying to eliminate that as a necessary step.
Right.
I mean, there are situations in which
or should we?
staff may come across a somewhat urgent need for a UDO text change. And and that's a fairly time-based process. And what I fear is now we're adding another step. Okay, council has to approve it before we can even start, instead of, in some cases, the ability of the police, the fire department, someone who may suddenly come up against a need for a UDO change. And I'll give you an example. The text change that we made on the basis of electric cutoff, that was a FEMA requirement, that needed to be done fairly expeditiously. And my understanding is council didn't look at that.
Oh, yes, the
No, staff brought that to you.
Yeah, staff brought it
Yeah.
to us, and we said, oh, yeah, we need to get this done. Now, ultimately, council votes on it,
Correct.
but
It did not go to council first.
what we don't want is, oh, you got to go to the council to get approval so you can take it to the planning board. Now, the planning board can approve it. Now it has to go back to the council.
And I don't read that into this. I think that's I don't read that into that. To me,
Okay.
with the ability of the current code language in 2.16, where it says that any interested party can petition to have this code amended. An interested party includes the planning board. Interested party could include the Board of Adjustment.
Right.
They could say, hey, we've run into so many variances for side setbacks that we think the planning board and town council ought to reconsider that standard. I'm just I'm using that as an
Yeah.
example. So they have the ability to initiate or at least bring something to our attention and see whether we want to move it forward.
Yeah, but are we writing code here that contradicts that? I
I-
know what you're saying. I hear you don't see it,
I don't see
but
it.
others could see it.
I don't see it. But
Others could see it.
Yeah, I think it needs to be fairly explicit.
And I would say
so maybe
some legal scholar could make the argument that this is the implicit powers and duties, and the other ones, no, this is explicit, excuse me, powers and duties, and the other ones are somewhat implicit. So explicit overrules implicit.
I'm going to read read
I
the
know what you-
preamble of the general statute. It says, duties. A planning board may be assigned the following powers and duties, and it lists 7 or 8 duties. 7 duties.
Right.
And then nowhere in
So
there does it say,
Are we just going about this wrong? Maybe, I don't know. We were all we were trying to do is respond to what we think is the does the council want to pre-approve and assign all duties to us in advance or not? Is what
don't,
Richard is saying, is that what they want? Do they want the power that everything we do is assigned by them first, or they don't want that? Really, they just want to be able to, if they find something appropriate, deliberate and assign it to us as needed. What do they want?
I haven't had conversation with the council, but when I read this initial proposal, what I read into it was if they want you involved, your input, and to take the lead, let's say on a comprehensive plan, they would request it.
Don't we already have
Where
that?
there's things where it said at the town's pleasure, at the town's pleasure, at the town's pleasure.
Yeah.
When you bring up, when you decided to put it at the town's pleasure at the beginning, to me, then you're opening up the can of worms where it says, at town council's pleasure, you can review and make recommendations regarding UDO text amendments. That wasn't the intent. The intent was on these studies. Chief, please, if I'm speaking out of mind, please correct me, because I haven't had conversations with council on this. When you decide to put that at town council's request at the beginning, now you're saying that you go from the interpretation, Mr. Chairman, that the only time that you can get involved in text amendments is if council asks you to do that. We had it in individual 1, section 2, section 3.
Right.
It was only in those times where at town council's request.
So what you're
So I-
suggesting is by doing it this way, we're negating
Yes.
all right.
So that's why I kept it as individual. I understood it was redundant language, but when it was specifically in 1 or 3 or 5, whatever the numbers were, without me looking back at the sheet, those items specifically. State law says that you have a role in reviewing text amendments and map amendments.
Well, I mean, we go back with the original red line version, but again, I'm back to where I was. In all those places after the word town council's request, as confirmed by a majority vote of the town council in open session. You want to add that language to every single one where it says town council request, I'm okay with that. If you think that it's the better way of doing it.
When I broke it down, that's why I kept it like it was.
Right, which
Because you have a role in the text amendments. You have a role in comprehensive plan and studies, et cetera, if council asks you to.
Well,
Which is exactly where we are now, before this.
But no, I mean,
No?
we initiated the land use plan change. I mean, we were the ones talking about updating the land use plan way before council directed us to do an update to the land use plan.
And I think in that case, if I may, Mr. Jones,
Yeah.
is if you feel like there's a need for a study, a need for a plan, regardless if this has changed or not, you bring it up to administration. You'll have a planning director, full-time planning director at some point. You have the town administrator. In your discussion, you say, we think we need to have a study on X. That then goes through the town planner, who likely would bring it to the attention of the town administrator. At some point, that's going to town council to be budgeted. Town council then decides priority of whether or not what they want your role to be.
Correct. We never spend money unless request
Correct.
approved by them.
So I don't think this precludes you from bringing up whether it changed or as written or not. Precludes the town planning board from saying, hey, I think we ought to consider amending or updating the land use plan. Doesn't preclude you from that. because ultimately it's got to be budgeted.
Right.
And then when that budget process, the RFQ process, et cetera, that's where roles are then further defined. County council may decide we want the planning board to be the lead, kind of like I'm going to use in air quotes steering committee, kind of what you were going to be. And council may also say, well, we'd rather have, a steering committee of 10. Let's have one member of the planning board, a member of town council, and 8 other citizens. Ultimately, it would come to you for adoption or for a recommendation to be adopted. But this gives that ability to do.
What's your suggestion on language?
I think the revised language as you were presented last week,
The red one.
the red one, was consistent with what council had proposed. And to me, it does not take any powers and duties away. They're almost a mirror image of what the statutes read. They're not, which is what the red language from last week was consistent with the statutes. The current code is consistent with the statutes.
Yeah, but the red lines,
Starts confusing things.
Again, at the time, my only objection to that one was the request was done by a vote, not by, what is a town council request? Somebody from the town council's sending me an email, and I wanted clarification of after the word town council request that it's a majority voted item, not an email from somebody.
And if that's the direction, that
Right.
can certainly be recommended to council.
Right.
Ultimately, council will make the decision if they want to include that or not. So going back to the red line version, if you kept everything else like it was, but then incorporate,
well,
define what that how town council makes that request.
I can't go back to the red lines because that still includes us not approving site plans and subdivisions.
I'm not talking about its entirety. I'm talking about the
Right.
purpose and duties at the moment. I'm sorry.
Right,
I'm
okay.
sorry. I'm boxing in right now just the
No.
powers and duties.
Yeah, B. Subparagraph B.
Okay.
Sorry for the confusion. That's where my focus was.
Right. No, I'm with you on that. Okay. So
So where are we?
in Article 2, Planning Board, subparagraph B, powers and duties, is to go back to the April 16th version with the inclusion after every time you see the words at the town council's request, adding a clarification, which I would go as comma, as confirmed by majority vote of the town council in open session, comma, would be suitable language that clarifies what a request is. And then everything else should agree. I guess number 6, I'm not sure. Item 6 in this is to promote a public park, that we need that at the town council's request. That could be removed in its entirety. We should be doing that all the time, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
But everywhere else, including adding to the number 7, that again, directed by the town council, adding the same language there. I don't know what directed and requested is, but thoughts on that, Stuart? Just on that section.
I'm okay with that change to
Mike?
that section.
Yeah, I'm okay.
Richard?
I'm still a little confused as to what we're changing in the.
We're going back to the,
Red line.
we're undoing our change, sort of, reconsidering our change, going back with Ron's original red line text amendment, just adding the language after every time you see the town council's request, insert that little phrase between 2 commas,
Yep.
and then and I do think some number 6 and 7 maybe need some
So
likewise.
we're replacing that phrase with What language?
So just as an example, Mr. Dysiger, under the powers and duties, number 2,
Yep.
and Mr. Bruno, please correct me if I'm wrong, but what I heard say, it would read, to conduct periodic review of the comprehensive plan or land use plan and recommend updates as needed at town council's request as confirmed by majority vote.
In open session.
Okay, I'll add in open session. That's how it should be made, but
Right. And so there's a number of places where you see the town council's request, where you add, I don't know, I'm going to call it a clarifier or a definer. What is town council request? I mean,
Yeah.
my thought was somebody send somebody an email. Is that a request? I would say no. A request certainly that they have a motion in an open meeting,
Can we add,
and they vote.
Can we add the word formal request and then,
I don't think you need it.
I kind of like it. And then the definition of that is a majority vote of the town council in open session.
The word formal doesn't add anything in my mind, but it's just the original thought on trying to get this compressed was to get rid of words, but apparently we're going to need the words.
If I may.
Yeah.
The intro to that section in B outlines everything that follows in the sub points. So if you make that formal request, majority vote, open session, and that opening under powers and duties, everything that follows in points number 1 through 7.
the big concern with
Is
that,
that right?
the big concern on that one, as I pointed out earlier, is number 3. They already have a role in making recommendations to council on UDO text amendments, zoning text amendments, zoning map amendments, subdivision regulations, etc. So they have to be part of that process. So if you add the town council's request and what I'm going to call the preamble,
Sure.
then it kind of gives
Conflicts with the rest of the
conflicts with the
UDO.
rest.
I understand.
So that's why
Yeah,
we're going back.
and
to
item
the-
number 6, we're eliminating that language altogether.
Yes, in item 6, I would take the at town council's request out,
Out.
just to
So-
promote public participation.
So I
Should
think
be
we-
all of our
I-
duties.
I think that phrase needs to be inserted only in the numeric items in which it
Right.
is pertinent.
Yeah,
So,
which would be in number 1, number 2, not in number 3,
I took it out of number 4.
4,
To advise town council on land use
Yeah,
growth management.
not in
development
number
policy.
4. It's in number 5, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
And then
not in number 6.
number 6, not in and not at the council's request. That should be everyone's duty to promote public participation. And number 7, I think we do need it at, because it says as directed by the town council. I think it needs to be added, that one too, maybe at the end. Directed, or after the word directed in that case.
Can we keep the language? I mean, there's a big difference between requested and directed. I think
Yeah.
the language should be consistent
So
throughout.
you change directed to requested? I don't
Yeah.
know why they put that as directed. Was there some, Ron, do you have some idea why you wanted directed there? Because of 160D?
Yeah, I'm checking.
Huh?
I'm looking at 160D.
You might have,
So 160D reads to perform any other related duties that the governing board may direct.
all right, we can leave it that way and be consistent with 160D, I guess.
Since we said
Okay.
consistent with 160D.
Yeah,
I mean, it's the same.
that doesn't make any,
And this,
all right. Sorry for the confusion. So
that's
we're
fine.
back on track, right?
Right, so I'm adding, and I'm trying to do this on the fly because I imagine you guys want to see something,
Uh-huh.
which I don't have access to a printer at the moment, so.
Well, you can always store it on a,
But it can be stored. I just have
And
to
someone else
send
can
to
print it.
someone else.
okay. So that's what we're going to do on paragraph B. C, I think you had correct. We just struck 1, and the first line is there, right?
Correct. And-
Yeah.
Okay.
And based on earlier conversation, if we don't have a 2, I'd prefer not to have a 1 in the code. So
Yeah, I know what you're saying. I took the number off. Right. And then subparagraph D, membership vacancies and meetings, excuse me. 2 was removed. 1, I think we were all okay with the ETJ membership and the county board, right?
Yeah, so if 2's removed, then 3 becomes 2.
2, right?
Make sure I'm catching this.
Right.
So
Terms of
removing-
service,
Removing service at pleasure, correct?
Yeah.
That was your proposal. Okay.
right. So terms of members of the planning board shall serve. I see the serve in there now. For terms of 3 years, such terms to be staggered and beginning on the date of appointment, until a successor is appointed and qualified. Must continue. Is qualified a period then? What does the qualified mean? They're appointed
Let me read it.
until appointed, should end at appointment, right?
Then it will say, comma, unless earlier removed by the town council or the
we
Brunswick
took
County
that
Board of
out, yeah.
Commissioners. So we took that out.
Yeah, so qualified, it has to be appointed, right?
It's a period there after commissioners. This one is
No,
such undertaking.
Commissioners.
no, we took that last sentence out.
Right.
I'm just saying, and qualified should have also been removed, right? What does the qualified mean? It's after appointed.
Yeah, we'll take it out.
Yeah.
The cross out just needs to go further left.
Right.
The strikeout. Vacancies. We had the.
Which is now number 3.
Yeah, well, yeah, okay. Fix the numbers.
And it fixes them when I change it.
Okay.
Vacancies. Yep. So the next 4 would be starting with the word faithful, right?
Right.
You were taking out the annual. I went back to the original red line, sorry. So we took out annual organization confirmation.
Right. So that's fine. You missed 2 consecutive meetings not excused. You're subject to removal by the
And-
council, right?
And before I forget, your comment or what I heard last week, yours meaning the board, was you want this consistent with the Board of Adjustment 2.4. And I changed theirs to 2 as well.
Okay.
Okay.
So
But they have a different number of meetings, I thought, right?
well, they're scheduled to meet annually, but they'd only meet when we have an item.
Yeah, but
Talk about-
they're missing meetings. I thought we found there was a difference, right?
They have
We're saying this one, you're subject to removal if you're unexcused for 2 consecutive meetings. I thought theirs was slightly different on the number. Theirs is 3.
right, and I changed it to 2.
Okay, so theirs is now 2.
Right.
They agree with that?
They didn't make
They
any
did.
They didn't make the
They
change.
make a change to it.
Okay. And again, like we said, if there's an excused absence and illness, something that we announced during the meeting, then it's not a. It's
And I
not.
think I did add,
Yeah, absences are excused if recognized by the planning board chair during the meeting, or during a meeting, during something, the meeting. I'm not sure what the.
Would be
During
the current meeting. I don't know.
during any meeting, I guess
Yeah.
should maybe probably during a public meeting.
that was the intent.
Yeah, that
During, like, the
during a
beginning.
public meeting is probably.
The intent was like when you open up.
Yeah,
because
just like
someone
last
goes
week when
out.
Michael said he has to leave, he was excused, so it's not a miss. Or if he tells me today I can't come to the next meeting because I'm going to be in.
Could you excuse him at that meeting?
I think you
Yes,
could, but I think you just
any
would
public at any
mention
Okay.
it.
at any public meeting.
Okay.
For minute purposes, I think it's best if it's done in the meeting that someone is absent.
Right. Okay.
I say minute, I meant minute purpose. I say minute purposes. Or meeting purposes.
We knew what you meant.
So did you want to add the word public during the public?
Yeah, I think so. Not that we don't have any,
They should be public regardless.
right? But that could make sure we're clear on that it's got to be during the public meeting. It can't be like after I adjourn, say, oh, Mike's not coming next
Right.
meeting. That would not be appropriate.
And if this is adopted, we'll try to maybe put a reminder on the agenda base.
Mhm.
Absences, excused, unexcused. or
Meeting
something.
schedule or something.
Or attendance or
Right.
Okay, so that's number 4. Meetings and procedures becomes number 5. I think we got the rules.
I don't believe you guys have any changes to that.
Nope. And then number 8 becomes number 6, right?
Correct?
yeah.
Okay. Moving on to E now, right?
And I need to restore that. My understanding, you guys wanted all that. You wanted that back.
Yes. And that was just restored from original language, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Then F, comprehensive plan. We wanted a may in there, right?
Yeah.
And that's what we've done.
May and R, yeah.
We're on, we don't have a page number, but we're on just before the Board of Adjustment now. Comprehensive plan.
So we read comprehensive plan with accompanying maps, plats, charts, and descriptive matter may show.
Okay. And we fixed some or similar at the end there, right? Okay, now we're on the Board of Adjustment, and we're agreed on that in section 2.4, we have everything that was included in the red line version provided at the April 16th meeting, except for the apparently 3 changes.
Do we need a motion to accept those 2 changes?
No, we need a motion at the end of this for this whole thing at some
Okay.
point. But,
Yeah.
Right, and I thought I added that in my section here. Yes. Or did I put it on? So in section 2.4,
C.
wait a minute. Yeah, section 2.4
One.
C1 at the very end, that's where we add in all the areas within the corporate limits of the town, right?
Yep.
I'm not happy with 2 because they left in the without cause.
They talked about it, and they decided to leave it in.
I know I'm not. I thought some of the point of this was to have the board sort of consistent.
Yeah, I agree.
So that becomes now an inconsistency.
Right. Still think could be misconstrued as political intimidation.
My preference is
I mean, they waffled on it. Most of them said,
because it's out of our, I think it should be out of theirs, and it's simply just taking out the words or without. Maybe removed at any time with cause, and take out the words or without.
Yeah.
Because then we're consistent on the two 160 sort of controlled boards would have the same removal process.
yeah,
And I think some of the point of this was to be consistent.
correct.
You guys at the left side agree?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yep.
I know they had a deliberation on it, but I think we should be consistent between the two 160D sort of mandated boards. That removal be for same cause. We didn't define cause, but we'll assume the state causes are the causes.
So consensus, I know you haven't taken an official vote, but I'm trying to keep up to make a change in the
So
document.
we're on
So
C, section C,
2
subparagraph 2, just striking the words or without.
Okay.
And then they had one more. You said you changed the
Under O.
So 6, right? No, and number 6, you have the 2 consecutive meetings there,
Yes.
which is
Yes.
fine.
Right.
And they have the same thing about, well, they spell out what their absences are, which is fine. So they're the same as us on the 2. And they wanted another change.
To E1.
No, E1, yes. E1, where they inserted or the clerk of the Board of Adjustment, right?
Yep.
And then nothing in, okay. Okay, so that we're good at, really. So we got 3 changes to that. The 2 they suggested in red on their document, and the 1 change in the missing the meeting from 3 to 2. And then, 4 changes, and striking the without cause. Correct? And the
Correct.
Board of Adjustment should be essentially, substantially, significantly, whatever the word you like, the same operations as planning board.
Agreed.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yay. Technical Review Committee, I think the only change is undoing the change and leaving the planning board liaisons in at the end of paragraph 3, right?
That was the intent.
Yep.
Right. So that's just back to where it was.
Check that.
I don't know. Do we need any clarification on that? Like a non-participating planning board? Do you have any preference? I try not to, when I'm there, not to say too much on a meeting unless asked, but I'm open. The original intent, when our previous chairman had this added to UDO, was to have a planning board member there so we're informed on, we're knowledgeable on discussion that occurs at the TRC. So when it comes to us for the approval, we have at least one person that was involved and has intimate knowledge. And we just did that with the word planning board chair / liaison, but we could add something like non-participating, non-meddling, or whatever.
What I just asked based on what
Right.
you're saying, and
Right.
you guys, again, thumbs up or down. I put in parentheses as a non-participating member.
Fine, I'm fine. with that.
After Chair liaison, I put in parentheses as a non-participating member.
That's fine.
Yeah,
Now-
because our goal there was
I
just
guess
to hear
I
what was going.
participated in the last one.
Yeah. Well, I always keep quiet unless asked.
And
Well, non-participating, so we're not allowed to speak?
but technically speaking, when it was brought up to me that it was added, it was for someone there to observe, to be prepared, to be be prepared. So when it comes to the planning board, at least someone was there, understood what was being said.
Do we want to
etc.
change the word liaison maybe to observer?
I like
And-
it just like
so-
how it is.
So in practice, what I've done though is, I'll just use the chair as an example. When I got the Los Palmares site plan in, I put the chair as a member of the TRC on the email. And he said he couldn't come, see if Stuart, he wouldn't be able to come, see if Stuart could come, so I did. Comments were given to me on what Stuart saw.
I made
You
comments.
did the same thing on one, I believe, maybe it was the hotel, maybe, or and
Well, through
I
you.
incorporated the comments
Right.
from Stuart into my comments. I think I had all, but maybe one of them captured anyway.
Yeah.
I think what we were trying to
But-
avoid is someone from the planning board don't sit there and go, we're never going to approve this.
Yeah,
or-
it's to limit
You're-
We won't approve this
Right.
unless you do this.
right.
So it's
That-
not,
it
it's
was
not that
trying
it
to
didn't have a
avoid that.
voice. It's not that it didn't have a say or a voice. There were opportunities for input through me as a plan. Whether or not that was the intent, I just felt like that was good practice.
Well, I don't know. Maybe we just like say liaison, just leave it as is.
I'd just leave it as is.
Right.
There's nothing wrong with what
But
we've
I'm
been
happy you
doing.
can also add in parentheses just observer maybe or something.
We'll just keep it like it
Yeah.
is.
Just keep it like it is.
It could be defined as the town feels like the role needs to be. But the
Right.
intent of it is you're not providing a bunch of comments or
Yeah.
Meddling.
meddling and having
Right.
use the chair's word and monopolizing a conversation with
Right.
this TRC. Really, the purpose of the
Well,
meeting.
who heads the technical review committee? Is
Who
there?
is it? It's planning,
Planning.
planning. Police is invited. Fire is invited. Public Works is
But,
invited.
who's the chairperson?
It's the planning director takes the lead on that.
All right. So,
Um,
they could always say, hey, sit down and shut up.
Yeah, so within but just so everyone knows, Mike, I know you have been involved. So planning, police, fire, building inspections is given an opportunity to provide comments. DOT, if it's a DOT street, Brunswick County.
So this may not
Engineering.
necessarily be a meeting. It could just be a
It can be just a,
convergence of submissions.
Right.
Okay.
Usually it's a
it
meeting.
usually it's a meeting, but it doesn't have to be.
Okay.
There
All
were
right.
only 3 of us at the last
Right.
one.
Right.
Yeah, it was fire chief, Stewart, and me. And
Okay,
engineer
let's
Todd.
just leave it alone because
right.
unless someone starts to be an egregious,
Pain in the ass.
yes. Okay.
Why
I
are you
think-
looking at me, Ron?
I didn't. I think that's, what else did we have?
So
212 is back.
I'm,
Yeah,
I'm
back
going
to where it
through
was.
I'm going through the document now, Ron. So I'm just can I kind of just show? Can I? So you don't have to keep saying what are we doing now? So I could just kind of
No, we're on 212, right?
right. So
Yeah.
Previously, you guys had the word planning board, so I'm going to reject the deletion and
Right.
put you back.
Right.
Same thing with major site.
Whoa, whoa, whoa,
plan.
yeah, whoa.
Put us back.
212.1.
Yes.
Insignificant deviations from a permit issued or approval granted by the town council or the planning board, board of adjustment are permissible.
Small deviations,
Small
a small
Deviations
plan
are allowed.
change.
Yeah, otherwise it would be a mess.
It's just going back to
may
the same
authorize such a, and that seems to me to be, I mean, somebody explain to me what insignificant is.
I know it when we see it. Like I said, the code defines it. Sorry.
It's always been in there.
Maybe.
Hmm?
It's
It's always been in
there.
there, and it's
Yep.
standard language.
Right.
Okay.
Let's say somebody showed a 15-foot setback from a property line, complied, and they want to move it to 20 feet.
Or 16.
Well, I'm saying 20. It's getting
Yeah.
further away from that
Right.
property line that it was, but not close, but not necessarily negatively impacted.
So these insignificant deviations could actually reflect an embellishment of the existing UDO? Are they necessarily going to reflect a deviation?
Well, it could be any. I mean,
They could just
we
be-
approve a site plan that had 37 bushes on it, and
They
they
could
did
change
come back
one
and say
bush.
39 bushes.
Right.
Or they could change.
They don't need to come back.
Right.
But
They
if
could
they
change
go
one
30,
shrub.
Or
to
they say they're going to put one holly on, and they're going to instead do a oak.
okay.
Both would comply.
Right.
It's
Well, my
mean,
question is
the accounting word generally would be non-material, right?
right.
Right. Another example of it, let's say they showed 39 bushes, but only 35 are required.
And they
And
decide
it's
to
not a
put-
conditional zoning or anything. I'm talking
Right.
about a by
Right.
right.
So
and then they do
an
37.
insignificant deviation could be the difference between a 50-foot ceiling restriction and a 54-foot
No, that's not
ceiling
an
restriction.
No, that's not insignificant.
Right.
Okay.
I think we're fine the way it is, unless
All right.
we'll leave it alone. Let's not beat it anymore. It's worked before. Again,
It's not abused. Well,
it's not been
I'm not saying
abused,
it's
so
abused.
I don't think we had.
So
So
everything
major
else,
site plan is back to where it was, right?
right? I'm going to, just so you know, I'm going to reject the change.
Mhm.
I'm going to just bring that back to what it was previously because that was the direction I thought you heard. I thought I heard from you guys last week.
Right. So it's as you did in the blue one here.
Yeah.
You had a couple of grammatical
Yes, I'm working
grammatical fixes, but it's fine.
I'm working in the red document
Yeah.
at the moment. That's. I'll go back and
And then last is creation of new lots, division of land. You had a couple of grammatical errors. And then we didn't want no changes in this.
which one was that one? I'm sorry.
15. 2.15.
2.15.
Just a couple of
Right.
grammatical.
Couple of
things.
grammatical errors that you have, but other than that, no changes. No changes to number 6.
Right.
Okay, and then 222 was the table. So basically, not change the table. Leave the FD in the planning board, which you did here in this blue one. And then, of course, the little sign offs at the end, I think, right? Yeah,
Correct. And that was the intent.
right. Oh,
So I thought I did a pretty decent job capturing your conversation
Right.
last week.
So, yeah. So, what are we in the townhouse one we had to do? Because there was, hold on, it was on
Bad
item
reference.
Item 2.
Item 2, Article 3.7, we just had bad references there, right?
Yeah.
That was fixing all those, okay? And we took off that the definition of whatever a special sign district was.
It was a carryover from the previous code.
Right. And then we had the signatures at the end. Yeah, I think that does it. So the biggest other change here is refixing the first part again. B, powers and duties. So anything else? And then we'll decide how to handle them. Anything else that
Can we just reiterate how we left Article 2, A and B? I just want to make sure that I understand it.
Yeah. You're going to have to kind of look. So Article 2, Administration and Procedures, Planning Board A, will read kind of like the blue line copy,
Right.
striking that second sentence. When you get to B, Powers and Duties, it's basically going back to the red line copy of April 16th with the added clarifying what town council's requests are, adding that as confirmed by majority vote of the town council in open session,
Right.
where it occurs in 1, 2, 5, right?
Yep.
And-
And 6,
7.
removing the town council request and including that clarifier in 7.
Got it.
7 becomes 6.
Stuart, how do you feel about that?
I'm okay with that.
Okay.
Well, I'm okay with the text changes that we talked about. I still have a couple of issues. One is this public hearing that was scheduled before we ever made a, we still haven't made a decision. They've already advertised the public hearing. It was advertised last week. It went in the paper again today. And it says, I can get my phone to operate.
You can paraphrase it, right? Unless you got it.
Notice is hereby given, Town Council, Town of Sunset Beach will hold a public hearing on May 4th at 5 p.m. during a regular Town Council meeting. Later on, and it goes on to say what the changes were. Interested persons are invited to attend and present comments either in person or as otherwise permitted by the town. Written comments may also be submitted to the town clerk prior to the meeting. A copy of the proposed amendment is available for public inspection at Town Hall during normal business hours and may also be available on the town's website. So how is that possible last week? How is it possible this week? We still haven't voted. I mean, how the
So
public.
what is up on the website right now?
Nothing.
Well, I
So
guess.
the public hasn't been, they're supposed to be given 2 weeks to make a comment, do a written comment, whatever. They're not gonna have the 2 weeks. I just having a real problem with this whole public hearing thing. It says in the UDO 2.16B2, before an item is placed on the consent agenda to schedule a public hearing, the planning board's recommendation on each proposed zoning amendment must be determined. So how did the council advertise a public hearing? They haven't even voted on it. So who authorized spending the advertising money to advertise a public hearing when they haven't even voted on it?
Well, I hear you on that, but it's like not in our lane, I guess.
I understand,
So-
but I feel like the public is being cut out of this process.
Mr.
Well,
Chair,
Yeah.
the public hearing is based on the original document. that was sent to you to approve or deny, not what was marked up.
Well, that makes it, to me, even more imperative. I
Right,
mean,
which is why we decided to try to create one
right.
that we could vote on and then make available to the public.
I mean, this feels to me like kind of an attempt to really outflank what the planning board is
Well,
going to recommend as for public consideration. I mean, if the
That-
public is being provided the original text,
we're trying to meet power and duty number 6 to promote public participation in planning process and provide opportunities for community input regarding planning matters. We are making a valiant effort to achieve that duty and responsibility. So
my concern,
I think if there's a complaint for the council, that's up to the citizens to do that. All we can do is do our job the best we can, follow the proper laws and procedures, provide a text amendment that we can vote on, which we're getting close to, but not there yet, and then send that up the chain, and then town staff can publish it on the website or do whatever they want with it. I mean, I don't have any lane maneuvering to do there other than do our job right. So,
well, this is, I mean, my concern is, I mean, this is a violation of the UDO.
yeah, but
I mean-
I don't have what's the recourse? I don't have recourse.
The recourse is to
Complain.
remind the council that this doesn't meet the standard of the UDO and we need to reschedule.
All right, so as the administrator just mentioned, council, what's out there is what was originally moved forward to the planning board by council at their, what was it, April 7th
Right.
meeting,
So
whatever that was.
the two
So-
sections.
So the 2 sections. So when I got it and I saw in there that the directive or what council wanted to consider was to, when they modified your powers and duties and they created the limitations of the planning board, and in that document it also included the UDO administrator as major site plan authority, approval authority, as well as major preliminary subdivisions. 2.3 and 2.4 didn't do everything that needed to be done.
Right.
So when I saw that document, to take you out of the process, because that's what that document said, when I say process being the major site plan approval and the
With
major
all due
preliminary
respect,
sub-
that's all I think moot.
well, but
We are where we are right now. We're very close to providing a text amendment that I believe achieves what I think should be desired or not. So I think we just need to figure out how to get this finalized, which I think we're going to need another short recess, so that it can be
printed.
printed out and we can look at it, even though it's begrudgingly boring for everybody watching this. But I think we should just take a short recess, give the staff time to sort out technical difficulties, make a final review of their thoughts when they're retyping all this stuff, reprint it for us. We can make one final review and then we'll make a motion to vote either yea or nay on it. And then if it happens to be no, then we don't send any recommendation to the council. But my hope is we can come to a yes to say this is what we recommend as the text amendment.
And I appreciate
Can-
you saying it was moved.
Can he go ahead and finish?
Yeah.
Yeah,
So what I was going to say is that because I did not want code conflicts.
right.
So because of what they moved forward to you, and it takes you out of that directive. I'm going to use the word directive. If you take it, whether it was directive or not, but it was moved to you to consider. Because it said to remove the plan, the UDO administrator is going to be the approval authority for major site plans and preliminary subdivision plats. There were other parts of the code that needed to be changed as a result to do that. Otherwise, I've got powers and duties, et cetera, that contradict what the actual process says.
Right.
I could have limited just to 2.3 and 2.4, but then that created problems later. So I took it upon myself, in conversation with the administrator, but I took it upon myself to where the project group went from 2.3 to 2.4 for additional changes. but that was to incorporate what I felt was necessary to accomplish what I believe council was asking you to look at.
Right. And now
That was wrong. That's on me. It was not on council.
right, but when we've worked through
Correct.
undoing that to get it to what we think is reasonable, legal, smart.
So I guess my question is, in terms of the viewing public, what are they seeing? They see we're supposed to have a meeting. Is there a document for their review that reflects the text that was originally created by the council? Is that what is available to the public?
That was available on the April 7th April 7th council meeting. It was
Right.
available in your packet from April 16th.
Right?
The April 16th package also included staff's
The staff
initial
report.
direction and staff report, we believe is what you looked at your April 16th meeting. And then
So all that,
I don't know if they have access to the blue.
They do
yeah.
not.
So all of that is the organic function of the council and the planning board in terms of what it makes available based upon its process.
Correct.
My question is more, the public's being asked to consider something. What is it that they're being shown to consider? Because right now, the public has no idea
Well,
that
the point of what we're trying to do here today is to create a new document for everyone to look at. Correct me if I'm wrong, Ron. If we say vote, get a finalized text, we vote on it, make a motion, vote to recommend to the council, the new document will be published on the website for the public hearing, correct?
What I imagine what's going to happen is council will have what they had on April 7th. They're going to have your recommendation.
Right.
And I believe in this case, because your recommendation is different from what that April 7th document has, they're likely also going to see what the initial amendment language was from your April 16th meeting. In other words, council, here's what your directive was. This accomplishes your directive. Here's what the planning board took, and here's what they recommend.
And that's what would be, in terms of what's available now, it's only A and B, the first two that you outlined.
They haven't seen your final document
Right.
yet, but they will have to. I mean, it's got to be published by Friday, right? Is that what your goal is?
The agenda has not been published yet.
Right. So we finish it today,
Correct.
then they can publish whatever we recommend on Friday.
And then to be available for public discussion, I believe, on their meeting on
So
Wednesday.
they will see
Correct.
what will be available to the public is all three: the initial
Correct.
summary document from the town council, the staff report, and then the recommendation from the planning board, and they can vote on anything they want.
Now, I haven't seen the ad in the Brunswick Beacon. How is that reader directed towards the material to be reviewed?
I haven't seen it.
They're not. I read it. All it says that it's available on the website.
Typically, people look on the website or they will call or email and ask, and we see what's being considered.
But it will end up, if we make a recommendation, it will be on the town council agenda package.
Correct.
So,
So
given
if you
that,
click on the little PDF link on the agenda, if we pass something there, it will be there.
Correct.
The other two, they have to look back to previous agendas to get,
Correct.
unless you give them another staff
Well,
report.
I'm going to. When
all
staff
three
report-
in there.
Staff report will be updated, and
Right.
something the chief and I need to talk about after this meeting about moving forward. But in my mind, they see the first document, the one that they'll have that as this was kind of the directive marching orders the planning board was asked to look at. So they'll have that. They're what they voted on April 7th. And again, this is something chief and I need to work out for how do you see it happening? But they would also get the initial amendment language that you reviewed on the 16th, because that accomplished what council asked.
According to
Then-
staff.
Yes. And
According to staff.
then they would also get this recommendation, and it'll be clearly marked. We're going to
Okay.
make sure it's clearly
and
marked. And they're
When-
also going to get an ordinance. I got to get 2 ordinances because we've got to show one with your changes and one without your changes.
Right. And so in terms of this schedule, when would this document go up?
Right. Is that what you'll typically do? Fridays?
Friday?
Typically Friday. Because they're
And the meeting would be,
May 4th.
A week from that following Monday.
So May 4th.
so people would have 9
10 days.
days.
Which is no different than if we were going through a rezoning process and we post the sign on the site within 10 days before the meeting.
Yeah, so, but part of my issue is, last week we reviewed the other text amendment for the privacy fencing and all that. That wasn't posted as a public hearing notice. So that's not going to go to a public hearing until June. Why can't this be on that same schedule? I mean, do people need that much more time to talk about privacy fences than they do to this major change to
Well,
the plan?
I mean, it could come to the point that the council decides, whatever they decide not to take it up at May 4th.
Right.
They could push the whole
they can
thing to
push it.
June if they want.
It's my understanding when they vote on April 7th, and I could be wrong, that they asked for it to be on their agenda with their May 4th agenda.
So they're pushing it. I do have one strange, different recommendation, is that because this affects us specifically as a planning board, what if the planning board made the presentation at town council? We've never done that, It
Well, we
puts a
could
lot-
obviously show up as citizens, which we've done.
right?
Yeah, I don't know. We generally rely on well, the way I understand it works, I guess we have to check our new rules maybe. I don't know if we put that in there, is the staff
I don't think
speaks
we've
for the
addressed
planning
that.
board, right?
Right.
But I don't think there's a formal way for the planning board to speak for the planning board to the council. Now, maybe I'm wrong on that and I don't understand all the codes. And one is, I see where you're going, and I thought that would, in some cases, there was other places I would have liked to do that.
Right.
But I don't know, is there an official or legal way? In other words, I like to be called as a witness sort of before the council, and I like to actually, as a citizen, if I come up here, I'm not supposed to deliberate with the council.
Right.
I'm not representing the planning board. I'm just Ron Citizen. Okay.
Right.
And we don't go back and forth. We're not, just like we do when our people here, we're not supposed to do a Q&A.
Right.
But I would have rather, like they do when other staff people, well, even the chief himself or the stormwater guy comes up and they basically have a to and fro.
Right.
I'd rather do that.
Well, in their preliminary meetings, the ones they have prior to the formal meetings, there's dialogue. I mean, they have conversations. They don't limit individuals to the 3 minutes. I don't know. Are they having a
Well,
preliminary?
what I'm saying is I don't believe, and maybe I'm wrong, that there is a way for the planning board to be put on the agenda as a speaker or whatever you guys call it, where all the department heads come up and talk and do question and answers with the.
I mean, it's going to be up to Ron to do the presentation. I guess my hesitation is that this is going to get kind of complicated. Now they have 3 things to look at, and Ron's going to be forced to interpret our reasoning on why we chose not to agree with this and why we chose not to agree with that. And I think it puts Ron in a difficult position.
I've been doing that for 30 years, so
Mhm.
30 plus years, so.
Well, how do you feel? Have you ever seen a planning board make a presentation? And
In my time, not on an amendment or anything that's moved from your board to their board. It doesn't mean communities don't do it, but the communities I've worked in
Haven't done it.
in my career capacity as planning,
Right.
not what I do now. I haven't seen that happen.
Can we be called during it by the council themselves saying, hey,
because I think there's
we see the planning board is here. Can one of you step up and answer? Are we allowed to do that? Generally, like I say, I'm only talking as a citizen, not as a planning board member.
right. So I guess, Richard last time talked about, there's no interface between us and the council. if we're the presenters, then there's a way for them to ask us questions and we can respond. Why did we feel this? Why did we do that? And then there's a way to have more of a responsive presentation instead of us just getting up and speaking as a citizen.
The other concern that I have, what I've heard kind of, is that a lot of this has been generated by the new council. I mean, the new legal counsel.
Well,
And a lot of what I see here reflects the fact that I think their expertise in the area is
we're out of our lane again.
they're out of their depth.
That may be
and-
true, but it's not our lane. We need to stay in our lane. So
Well,
I would ask us, what
we're on
does I know, what does staff need to get this text amendment something that we can make a motion on to get to a vote on?
I'm sending it
How much-
to.
How much time do you need? Half an hour? 15 minutes?
Just long enough for me to. I'm actually trying to attach the document to an email to someone right now to print for me.
Well, but you need time to look at it too before you print.
Just
So we
saying.
don't have to fix it again.
Take
I'd like to give you 15, 20 minutes to take a look at it. It's fine with me.
So the plan is to have a short recess, generate the final draft
Yes,
of and then we come back, read it, approve it, send it to the council.
correct.
Okay.
So I will make a motion that we will have a 15-minute recess to 10:50 in order staff to update the text amendment for our final review and consideration for vote. Do I have a second?
I second.
I second.
All in favor?
All right.
Aye. We'll recess the meeting for 15 minutes. Okay, seeing as it's now 10:50 a.m., call the planning board meeting back in session today. The recess is ended. We now have a new document with the final revisions incorporated for us to look at, which we'll try to do on an expedited basis here. Article 2, Planning Board, B, well, A is fine. I guess that second sentence, the strikeout didn't get put in there, huh? You see that, Ron? It's like the lines didn't line up or something. So that struck, that sentence. Powers and duties, where we kind of went back. The planning board shall have the following duties, starting with number 1, prepare, review, and recommend to the town council. We need an or in there. Or at town council's request as confirmed by majority vote, a comprehensive,
In open session.
in open session, a comprehensive plan or land use plan amendments thereto pursuant to 160D. Fine, probably an or needs to be in before the A. To prepare, review, and recommend to the town council or at town council's request. Probably just need an or before the AT or
Yeah.
at. To prepare, review, and recommend to the town council, comma, or at the town council's request, as confirmed by majority vote in open session, comma, a comprehensive plan or land use plan and amendments thereto pursuant to North Carolina General Statute 160D-501.
Yes.
Okay. Number 2, to conduct periodic review of the comprehensive plan or land use plan and recommend updated as needed at town council's request as confirmed by majority vote in open session. 3, to review and make recommendations to the town council regarding UDO text amendments, should be a comma then, comma, zoning text amendments, comma, zoning map amendments, comma, subdivision regulation amendments, comma, and other development regulation amendments. 4, to advise the council on land use, comma, growth management, comma, and development policy matters, period. Okay. Number 5, we need the 2 to stay in, the TO. 2, conduct studies and prepare advisory reports at town council's request as confirmed by a majority vote in open session, comma, related to land use, infrastructure and planning, comma, growth trends, comma, and community development needs, period. 6, to promote public participation in planning processes and provide opportunities for community input regarding policy matters, period, fine. And 7, to perform other advisory planning functions as may directed by the town council, consistent with chapter 160. I thought we agreed that we're also going to add the qualifier as
Majority vote.
confirmed by majority vote in an open session.
Yeah.
It'd be done at the end either. As directed by town council, comma, at majority vote in open session, comma, consistent with chapter 1D. You got that, Ron, too? Okay, limitations, final additions, that's good. Okay, B, members vacancy. Appointment,
So C is basically
where
the
we
same
were.
final plat
Same as where we were.
assignment. Okay.
I think section B1 is fine in my quick reading here.
Okay, can we just go back to C for a minute?
Okay.
This language is consistent with what existed previously.
It is the existing language, correct?
Wait.
C2? Mhm.
Yeah, something's wrong. C's wrong.
Yeah, I mean, this should be final plat decisions regarding site plan
Yeah.
approval.
Apparently I deleted the wrong thing. What you won't see to read is the planning board shall not
Oh.
conduct quasi-judicial hearings,
Correct.
issue variances, decide appeals of administrative decisions, issue special use permits, enforce development regulations, or administer development permits. That was,
So
I
we need to
deleted the wrong
revert
thing.
that one back, huh?
Yeah, I just deleted the wrong thing.
You have the copy and pasted that back in?
You have to rewrite it.
Okay. Better go this direction. Sorry about that. So C, limitations of authority should revert back to the planning board. The planning board shall not conduct quasi judicial hearings, comma, issue variances, decide appeals of administrative decision, comma, issue special use permits, comma, enforce development regulation, comma, or administrative development permits. It will revert back to that language, correct?
Correct. I apologize for deleting the wrong thing.
So what is here as number 2 remains
Is stricken.
stricken and replaced with the language that you just shared with us, correct?
Right. Right. And there's
Okay.
no numbers because it's just
No
that
numbers,
one
just
paragraph.
one, yeah.
Yeah. So this essentially codifies the UDO administrator's role to approve final plats and restricts the planning board from being in that business. Is that how I'm meant to understand it?
No,
No, it's
no, we're striking that out of here.
Okay.
So we still have site plan approval in our
Right.
we can't,
purview. We're not allowed to do quasi judicial.
Right.
or issue
So that's all
permits.
it's really saying is we
Okay.
can't.
But in terms of final plat approval, which now has historically resided with the UDO administrator,
Still does.
It still does.
still does.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Okay, B1
So
is,
B should be D, right?
Yes.
yes. So D, membership vacancies and meetings. So D1, excuse me. Is, I think, back correct? Yes.
Yeah. I think so.
2 now becomes its terms of service. Planning board shall serve.
2 is good.
Yep. 3 is vacancies.
3 is good.
Yep. Number 4 is the faithful attendance. That's the 2 consecutive meetings and unexcused absences during a public meeting. Okay. 5, meetings and procedures.
That's all good too.
Okay. Oh no, not good, right?
Oh,
The end is wrong.
majority of the members.
It should be reverted back to there shall be a quorum of 3 members for the purpose of stays in. And the last sentence is struck. A majority of members shall constitute a quorum. That's how our new rules of conduct also reflect that. You see that, Ron, too?
Yeah, there should be a quorum of 3.
Right. And 6, that's fine. That was equal rights for ETJ. Okay. Section C is probably not C anymore, right?
No,
Is that E now?
that's E.
E, gathering background information, special studies and records. We just basically reverted back to existing language, right? Yeah.
Yep.
With no changes. So D is now
F.
F.
Yep.
Comprehensive plan. We got the maze in there, right?
Yes.
And the R.
Or right, or similar titles. Okay. Okay. Board of Adjustment, section 2.4. We had their changes in there, which is on C1 at the end, right? It should read all areas within the corporate limits of the town. Okay, we got that. We changed the to, right, removed at any time with cause. Okay. That's okay. And then,
Did we? Let's look at the 5 members of the board is important, but maybe removing it with cause by majority vote in an open meeting.
yeah, to be consistent
Yeah.
in open session. So the language is consistent there. So the 5 members of the Board of Adjustment appointed by town council shall serve at the pleasure of town council and may be removed at any time with cause by majority vote of town council in open session. Correct?
Correct.
Thank
Correct.
you. Okay, and we fixed, which number is that? No, 6, right? Where their unexcused absences is 2 meetings, just like the planning board. Unless they have an excused absence. Vacancies was correct. Where was the other change they made?
E,
E and Oates, right? Yeah.
E1,
E1, the chairperson or a clerk of the board, okay, is authorized to administer the oath. Okay, that's correct, I believe.
yeah, I think so.
Technical Review Committee, I don't think we reverted back, right?
Yeah.
And we got nothing going on there.
And
Should it be,
Where are we at?
wait,
Oh, the section is wrong probably now, right?
that's still section 2.5.
so do we need to, should it be read and marked through and noted? Because you had,
Yeah, 2.4.
no, you had,
No, I rejected the change.
Right.
but in the red line that they're going to see, from our original agenda,
Right.
the planning board was struck
Correct.
out. So should it show as
Well,
being changed?
what I'm, again, from a presentation perspective, things that you're not changing for your recommendations, like if there's no changes in this powers and duties of technical review committee, as an
Okay.
example, I will just cut that out.
Okay.
But I kept it in your document because I want you to see that I made the change.
Okay. All right.
Does that make sense?
Yep. I understand.
So
Yep.
to kind of keep the number of changes in front of council, anything that's not being changed, proposed, recommended change by you, I will cut out of the document.
Right.
But they'll see,
Okay.
if they likely see the other.
So they won't see 2.5 or 2.12 or 2.14
Unless there's a typo or something.
or 2.15 or 2.22 or,
Right, we were making no
Correct.
changes.
And
right.
that's
Well-
how I would envision it. From your recommendation, you aren't recommending any changes. So that would not be included. Ultimately, what council sees as your recommendation.
Right. So the original council recommendation was 2 sections of code. Then your revision to make it,
To incorporate that.
to incorporate that was 10 sections of code. And then based on planning board's review, you're going to have what, 3
3 or 4 sections.
or 4 sections?
Because a couple of them would still be a cleanup
Right.
item, like a code reference or
Okay.
taking that definition out, special side district or whatever.
Because, there's one word in 2.14.
Yeah, 2.14, I'm looking at, there was 2 changes made.
Mhm.
In C, line 4,
Yeah, major site plan.
it was going to shall review the major site plans.
Yeah, I think current code said plans.
Right.
So I can put major back if you want.
Yeah, it was supposed to be shall review the major site plans.
Yep.
We had an all in there, otherwise meets all the standards.
Yeah, that's in D and that's there.
Yeah.
Okay. And it's also in D, it's there, okay. Okay, so that was just two little technical fixes there. That in C, it's major site plans, and in D, the all standards, right? Which we got now. Well, the major site plan, we had to add the all was there. And there's some his or hers fixed on 215, right?
And that's not a must do, but as I
Right.
was cleaning through the document, I
Yep.
decided to do it. But we don't have to include that
And
change.
thou required information on A, 5A, you got that? Yep. The table is back to where it was.
Now, just maybe
Where you at?
picking at hairs here. In showing the formatting change, there's a red line that crosses out in the major subdivision primary. That's not our intent to cross those out. It's just
Oh, you're talking, are you in 2.22 section?
Right here.
attachment 2.
Through the FD.
No, that's
We're just changing the font.
yeah, that's just a changing the font formatted or whatever. Where and that's just the line going all the way across.
Okay.
Well, I'm assuming in the final version, you get the table as
Right. Yeah, it's just
complete on one page, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
And
Okay.
I mean, the
really-
key thing is major site plan and major subdivision preliminary plat, the FDs in the planning board, right?
Right.
Correct.
And nothing else should be changed. Nothing is changed. on
Okay.
the
So that's
plan.
just a formatting issue.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, that's the way micro notes changes it.
Yeah, I probably changed the format or something, and this
Yeah. No, I
That's-
get it.
created a line, and I tried to clean that up in this particular document.
I know
Didn't have
sometimes
changed
it
up.
creates more problems than it fixes. All right.
And do we have the fixes here for this townhouse, right? In 2,
Section 13.
section
Got that section.
2, the first one has to be changed too, right?
Yeah, and that's going to be 2.15, I believe.
Section 2.15, right?
Correct.
E, 2.15E.
Yes.
And also, following the final plat approval by the planning board has to be replaced with UDO administrator. In accordance with section 2.15F, right? Yes.
Yeah, my
Including it,
haste
right.
Took that out.
So the change has to be made in line 2, section 2.15E. In line 4, planning board replaced with UDO administrator,
Correct.
and then it's correct. Agreed?
Where are we
Yeah.
again?
We're on section
and we're
2.15.
right before
right before Article 7.
7.
The number 2 right above Article 7. Concerning townhouse projects.
Oh, okay. All right.
Do I need to reread it? Everybody, you good?
Yep.
Good. Then Article 7 definitions, we're getting rid of, we agreed, get rid of special signing district. That the changes in the table for required certificates bring us back where we were, right? What's that? Certification of planning board approval of the major preliminary subdivision plat, right? That's correct, right?
Yeah. So really, you wouldn't have to submit Appendix A
Correct.
to the council. right?
Correct.
Okay. Richard, anything? Well, it's,
Oh, I had one question. In at the last page, attachment 2. Oh, wait a minute.
okay.
Oh, just a sec. So we are not an exempt division plat.
You need to bring me to the section. Where
Yeah,
you
I'm
at?
sorry. We're on Appendix A, certificates required, the first half of the table on the next to last page. And it's certification of planning board approval for major preliminary plot. Got it.
Yeah.
Understand about we don't have to approve a minor preliminary plat. What is an exempt division plat that we're not required to approve?
There are 5 exemptions in the subdivision definition and in state law that says those things are not a subdivision. So it could be what you look at sometimes, you might think it's subdivision. It could be recombination of plats. It could be a plat created through a will probate process. Could be a division of properties of more than 10, where all the properties result in more than 10 acres. That's an exemption by state statute,
Okay.
also our code. Another one would be, just throwing it out there, another one would be, and this, in your mind, you may think is a subdivision, but state statute points it out as an exemption, where you have a small lot that's less than 2 acres, and you create no more than 3 total lots that comply with the rules. That is an exempt plat by state law.
Okay.
And
So
Stewart
these
Properties
are all
387
state
is- Yes,
enforced exemptions
Correct.
that are very narrow and
And then there's
correct.
it's none of our business.
10
Okay.
acre
Yeah, the
lots.
10-acre lots.
10
Yes.
10-acre lot subdivisions are also
So if
exempt.
you're 21 acre lots, somebody wants to split it into 10.5 acre pieces of property, that's an exempt. So which means we can't require any subdivision requirements.
Right.
Okay.
They're exempt by state law. So
All right.
So
Learn something every day.
so there's exemptions in state law as well as we have the same definitions in our code.
All right. Great.
Okay. Seeing that we're good to go, I'm going to make a motion that the planning board vote on action A being the following. The planning board hereby recommends approval of the proposed amendment with the discussed final changes and modifications to the Unified Development Ordinance and finds that is neither one, consistent nor inconsistent with the town's comprehensive plan, 2017 Town of Sunset Beach Land Use Plan, and there are no specific policies pertaining to appointed boards and their roles, and 2, that it is in the public interest. Do I have a second?
Do we need to more clearly define what this document is with language such as adopted by the planning board on April 22nd at 11:15?
I wouldn't get that specific. But if you wanted to say as amended by the planning board, recommend.
Yes, I said hereby recommends approval of the proposed amendment as modified.
Okay, did you say that? Sorry.
Right,
I'll make sure I'll put that in the information as it goes to council.
right. As you could put the date in there as modified on today's date, which
yeah,
is,
I'd put today's date. Just so
Yeah, I don't think we
there's
need to
no
put time in.
confusion.
Okay.
Time in.
let's say as
That's what I meant by that.
final version as modified on April 23rd, 2026. My motion is adjusted as that. Is there a second?
I so second.
Any further discussion?
Stuart?
I'll take,
I'm still not
Well,
happy
you're
about all of this, but
we got that.
you know,
Okay, I'll take a roll. Richard, yea or nay?
Aye.
Michael?
Aye.
aye.
The chair is aye, so the ayes have it.
And can we put in the notes, this has been adopted unanimously?
Yes,
It will be. It's-
4 and 0 against. Thank God, 0 abstain. So I would say the request of the chair is that the final version gets distributed to the planning board.
Sure.
Can we?
I thought you said request. Oh, you said of the chair. I thought you said to the chair. Sorry.
The final version, so we can see the final version, would be appreciated. And then they can go to the council for their deliberation. A couple of small
And for
things.
consideration at
Yeah.
the public.
Right. Couple of small things from the last meeting before we give the public a chance to weigh in. On our rules, we had an issue on Rule 29, the duty to vote,
Oh, yeah.
whether abstention is a negative vote or not. We're trying, I just want to see has staff had a chance to decide.
I have not.
Okay.
I have
so
not looked at it further.
you recall that? That was, if someone abstains, is that it was still left as an option, affirmative vote or a negative vote.
It follows the motion. So if the motion is to approve, an abstain vote approves. If the motion is to deny, an abstain vote denies.
So that should be then, we need to have that final adjustment to that rule. Shall be recorded as a vote as the motion,
With the motion.
with the motion. And what happens on a tie?
To me, it's tied. The tie,
knew.
the motion fails. If it's
Yeah.
a tie, the motion fails.
So the motion fails as a tie, so then it's considered a no. Okay, so we just need, before distributing those final rules, is that clarified, that Rule 29?
Sure.
That it's recorded with the motion or a negative in ties then, right? Okay. I just had my little purple tag here, which meant there was still something going on.
Which I believe I had. That was my thought process.
Well, I thought we
But-
left it
no,
that
no,
we
we
were going
did
to
leave
take a
it. We
final,
did.
you guys are going to take a final look at it. So that's
No.
the way.
That is where we left it, but I think in
Okay.
my mind, I think it's what I
Okay,
said.
so we're good on that?
And that goes to council for approval?
They will be going, yes, but I don't think it's going to be on the May 4th, or is it?
And again, we'll need a final distributed copy then to that. Lastly, does the public wish to make any comments? I don't know if the mic's on, Ellen. Name and address, obviously.
Candace Sieben, 611 Lakeshore Drive in Sunset Beach. And I just wanted to be here to thank you guys. I think you have a largely thankless job, but thank you for preserving the integrity and transparency of this board. I think it's so important. Thanks.
Thank you.
Amen.
Thank you.
Any other public comments? None? Does staff or administration want any other things to tell us? Yeah, I didn't think so. Need a motion to adjourn the meeting finally?
I make that motion.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Meeting's hereby adjourned. Thank you guys for your hard work.